Guys, welcome back to Gurl's Garage. I know what are y'all thinking? Where are the motorcycles? And to be very honest, I never intended this YouTube account to be dedicated just to motorcycles. I got love for all sort of machines, whether they're new, old school, you name it, bikes, trucks, Jeeps. Uh, and one thing I want to share with you all is this is not my bread and butter. I'm not majority of the YouTubers that are out there that are primarily using this as their primary job. They're seeking for subscribers, obviously providing such content to make money out of it. I do this more because I'm passionate about the things I like to do on bikes and cars and Jeeps. Uh, and that's why majority of you know sometimes I don't post anything for like a month or so. And what can I say? Life happens. You get busy. So jumping onto this video, this is going to be obviously about bumper. The bumper that really caught my eye was during last year of SEMA. It was aluminum version of the same company, Rival 4x4. I really liked the lightweight design on it. And they recently came out with the steel version of this, which is what you see in the front. And I dig it, man. This is probably the most modular bumper in the market right now. Where what I mean by that is you can customize this thing to what fits you the best. For example, right now you see this is a stubby length. If you want the full size one, you remove these two bolts from bottom and top, and you can get those adapters to make it full size. Um, Similar features like, for example, uh, if you don't want to run any D-rings or hooks, I'm not sure why would anybody want to do that, especially on a Jeep, but you have the option to close those holes. And then you get a base, your winch plate, where the winch basically sits on, and you also get a winch cover. So if you're currently not running a winch, you can simply have that in there. So it completes the look of it. And another neat feature that why I went with this, I wanted something that had fog lights. As many of you know, we get Jeeps, we lift them. The headlight usually gets lifted with the height of the vehicle. So either you have the option to tilt the headlights to a certain degree, so they're more on the road and not in the eye of upcoming traffic. Uh, but this gives me a bit of more light of visibility on the road. And again, we're talking about modular, right? You can run it how you see up here, or you can have the hoop on the top. And this is also hollow. So all your wiring and everything for lights and accessories will be nicely tucked away. And another feature that really made me decide why I want to go with this are these hooks. These hooks are pretty badass. And what I mean by is simply, for example, you got a D-ring shackle on here, right? And if you're trying to get yourself out or trying to help somebody out, we all know loosening up that D-ring for first or second time when it's fairly new, it's easy. But once you get that locked, it gets really hard to loosen that. So a quick, easy hook on the top, you can pull someone out or pull yourself out, and you still have the option. The second hole is there to run the D-ring. Just to give you a little closer look and also what comes in the kit, we get some headlight brackets, so you can run any aftermarket fog lights as well as your stock bumper fog lights. And here, this is what I was mentioning, where you get the cover that you can remove if you're running a winch or not. So that kind of completes the look. And of course, if you want to cover these gaps, you have those covers. And now onto these hooks and these brackets. I believe this is where their engineering really shines, because these brackets are bolted to the frame. So not the bumper. The bumper is not bolted to the frame. The bumper is just bolted onto these brackets by a couple bolts. So let's say you're yanking someone out or someone's yanking you out. The pressure is onto these hooks that carry the momentum to the bracket to the frame. Uh, It is not going to rip off or yank the bumper, as the bumper simply just sits on those brackets. And another feature that I'm possibly thinking of, let's say you simply rear end someone, right? And you don't have to replace the entire bumper. Simply, you can replace the part that gets damaged. The frames will not bend because the hooks are attached to the frame, not the bumper. So that's something else to think about. When I'm purchasing things like this, I have all sort of these scenarios running through my head, and then this is your base winch plate where the winch will sit on top, and then these two brackets are for the front fair lead. We have some spacer brackets and some L clamps, and as well as some more brackets to tie in those hooks. Uh, the hoop itself, of course, has some holes where you can mount this additional lighting, and a neat feature is it's hollow, right? So all the wiring will be nicely tucked in, and it comes with its own manual where it contains pictures. And tell me how many manufacturers out there that actually do this. Really, really, really nice complete kit. Now this roughly weighs around 79 pounds, and the previous one that I was running, uh, it was a full size bumper that was around 120. So I saved quite some weight. And this thing has a nice powder coat on it. All the brackets and all the hardware that comes with it is nicely coated. The only area that I actually found where this powder coated is chipped off is from a couple of the holes, and then some areas are actually on the inside of the bumper. But I mean, hey, that's not a biggie. I can just spray that with a coat or so. All right, guys. So the very first step is, of course, removing the stock bumper or whichever aftermarket bumper you have on. And then we're going to be installing these brackets. And then once you have the brackets installed, then you can install these hooks. And so on the brackets, they actually have their bolts marked. It's a 10.9, it's a 19 millimeter head. And of course, the pattern is bolt, washer, washer, nut. So we'll slide that in. And in the meantime, you don't want to snug these up. Just loosely tighten them, have enough wiggle room, because you have to measure the length between these hooks in order to slide in the bumper on top. So yeah, just don't snug them up yet. Next is we're actually going to jump onto the vacuum pump. We're going to be relocating that. So onto the vacuum pump, this is a 10 millimeter head. We're going to be removing these two bolts. The rear one is a little tricky to get to, but it's doable. Once you actually take the vacuum pump off, we are going to cut this bracket. And in the instructions, it actually marks the line so you know exactly where and how much to cut. But what I'm going to do basically is go to this endpoint and just tag along and cut that piece off. I did take the bracket and hook off just so it gives me enough area to remove that. Give you some idea, this is how much I took off. Still hot, but roughly that much. And I'll spray that with a little coat so it won't rust. Get that bracket trimmed off. Next, we're going to use these. Now these have the nuts welded on the back, and we're going to insert these right between these mounts, and so you don't lose the bracket. You just put a couple threads on the top bolt, leave it in there. That way when you install the base plate, you can just pick this up a little bit to line the hole and insert it. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. There it is, easy as that. All right, so as you place these in, the directions say bolt, washer, and then another washer in the back. So this is where a little bit of there it is. Once that's in, then I can align this and start tightening. There you go. So that has bolt, washer, a washer, then this actual plate. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, and then the middle bolt is actually what's going to mount our base plate for the winch. And I'm using a 11th 16th to tighten these. And next is our base plate, which can insert this vacuum pump just like that. And then this is the tricky part. Gotta align these. So after trying to install that plate on and off a couple times, what I happened to figure out, the bolts don't align up, and this is not clearly for the JK, even though right here it clearly says from 27 to 2018, and then of course JL and JT models. And what I'm trying to show you is, so this plate sits like this, and what they're saying is, directions say you got to insert these and then bolt this plate together with this. But as you can see, nowhere, if I try to line this middle bolt, then the top one won't match. If you try to line this one, there's no way to align both of them together. So this is definitely not the correct part. Either way, I don't have a winch at the moment, so I think I'm going to skip that part. I'll try contacting them if they can replace that part at least, or provide the correct one for the JK, or any guidance if they have that I should be following. But other than that, I think I'm going to install both the mounts, the hooks, and then install the bumper and the lights and everything, so at least that part is taken care of. Now for the lights, there are two type of brackets you're going to get. If you have the stock steel bumper that usually comes on the Rubicon, then you can use this one. But if you don't have the stock steel bumper, then this is the bracket you need to install any aftermarket lights or the stock fog lights. And we're going to snug everything up. Those ones I already did, and then these ones also. That should be good. Give you a quick overview. So as you can see, this plate and this bracket has a room of a hair or so. So the trick is to push it all the way to the left, then snug those 4 bolts. And then on the right side, do the opposite. Push it all the way to the right side. Make sure you have that gap, and then snug them up. Next is the bracket for the lights. Make sure you insert it underneath, not on top of the frame. As that will interrupt your bumper as you slide that on. So this is again bolt, washer, washer, nut, 2 of those and 1 on the bottom. Same thing on the other side. And because the winch plate didn't fit for me, basically reassembled the vacuum pump on there. Uh, it wobbles a bit, but I'll probably make like a bracket or so and tie it with this, so it's pretty snug. Till the time they at least provide me the correct part number. If you are using the hoop, I would recommend tightening it while you have the bumper on the ground, just so you can access these a lot easier. And the washers that actually came with these nuts were way too small, so they actually go through the hole. So I had to use some additional ones to secure this. And from here, just give each bolt a quick double check that everything is snug. And see, it's pretty lightweight compared to what I had before. That one went in, and there you go. And that's how it should sit. And just to secure the bumper, we're just going to use 2 bolts on each of these sides, and that's pretty much it. What I was talking about earlier, as you're tugging yourself or someone out, the pressure directly goes on the hooks, which are tied to the frame now, instead of relying on the bumper, which eventually ties to the frame. So I really like this design. Here's the final look, guys. Exactly what I wanted. Stubby length, lightweight, modular at the same time, and really love these hooks. I have yet to still figure out the situation so they can order me the correct part, but in the meantime, what I'm going to do is use the factory cover and just insert some plastic tabs between those so they'll kind of fill in everything. And then next is to order some fog lights, and yeah, let me know, what do you guys think? Yep, and this is the final look. Pretty happy with it, even though the plate part didn't work out, but I'm sure they'll reply in a day or so. We'll figure that out. And next, I think I already mentioned, I want to get some fog lights, get the winch plate stuff sorted out just to complete the front end. And currently, I am running a aftermarket suspension. I do want to swap it to a different manufacturer. I got half the boxes shipped, still waiting on some parts. So once I get all of that, I'll start tearing this thing apart and probably share that with you guys. Let me know what you guys think of this look, and if you like it or not. We'd love to hear your feedback in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching.